Alright guys, in this video we're going to go over how to set up the base for your 3-piece Agamograph. So at this point you should have completed your 3 separate artworks, and now we're going to get ready to put the base together, which is what these will be getting glued to. So we're going to go ahead and move these out of the side, away from the screen. I'm going to move this out of the way, and then we're going to talk about what you need. So for this part, you are going to need a 12 by 18 paper as well as a 9 by 12. So here's our 12 by 18 and our 9 by 12. So quite a lot of paper here when we put it together. And you may be wondering, well, why do we need such a big paper? But remember that each of these pieces is going to get adhered or glued to the base. So you need enough paper for each piece, okay? So if we lay these out on top of those, you'll see that it covers the entire length of those papers, okay? So for this, you're going to be practicing your measuring skills as well as some basic paper engineering skills, which we've practiced this year. So let's go ahead and start with the 12 by 18 piece first. So you're going to want to grab a ruler. You're going to want to make sure that whatever ruler you're using, you can clearly see the measurement across the top. So if you can't see the measurement, don't use that ruler. Some of the rulers, the numbers have started to wear off. Make sure you're grabbing one where it's clearly marked. You also want to make sure that you're using the inches side of the ruler and not the centimeters. That's important. And we've talked a lot about this year with measurement. So on our rulers, this first black line is where the measurement starts. So you're going to slide that up to the top of the paper, and you're going to begin to mark every inch. I'm going to see about zooming in a little bit closer for you. It's not going to be super duper close, but hopefully you can see the numbers here. And what we're going to do is just line this up and mark every inch across the top. So I'm going to take my time. I'm going to mark at this long black line directly behind the 1. Same thing for the 2. Here's the 2. Here's the long black line. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, so now what we have to do is take our ruler, slide it down. That first black line is going to line up with the last mark we made, and we're going to start measuring again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So you need to make sure that your measurements are pretty accurate. So you're going to come down here, do the same thing. The measurements need to be accurate because if they're not set up correctly, you're going to have some trouble with the final piece. So be careful with your measurement. All right, we're going to line it up with the black line. We're going to measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to line that first black line up with the mark I just made, and I'm going to measure again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom back out for this, is I'm going to connect with my ruler those 2 points of measurement. We've talked a lot about this. You must measure at the top and the bottom. You cannot freehand this. You can't just eyeball it. You will not get correct measurements, and this absolutely matters for this project. So please make sure that you've measured 1 inch the whole way across the top and every inch the whole way across the bottom. You're going to line those 2 points up with your ruler and connect the whole way across the paper. So I'm going to speed this part up. So here's what it looks like. You should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 spaces. If you don't, you've made a mistake and we need to look at it together, which means you'll need to raise your hand and let me know you're having some issues. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing on the 9 by 12. So we're going to turn it this way. Okay, so this is portrait orientation for this paper. And we are going to measure, again, every inch starting at the top. So line that black line up with the edge of the paper, and you're going to mark every inch. We're going to do the same thing at the bottom. Okay, so again, measurement at the top and the bottom, very important. We're now going to repeat the process of connecting those 2 points. Again, I'm going to speed this up in the video. Okay, so make sure that you put your name on the back. Now, when you put your name on the back, I'm going to ask you to write it on both sides of the paper, so going this way. So here's the paper is oriented portrait style. I'm going to write Mrs. Hunt right here and right here. Because remember, all of our papers are going to start out looking really pretty much identical. So I'm going to do the same thing on the back of this one. Mrs. Hunt. And over on this side too. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to practice my accordion folding skills. So remember, there are different ways to do accordion folding. We're going to do this one more of the old school way that you learned how to do when you were little, like folding a fan. So we're not going to exactly do it the way we do when we are using paper engineering, but there are similar concepts along the way. So I always like to fold it so that I can see the line. That's your choice. I'm going to turn my paper this way. You can work any way that works for you. There are a couple different techniques I've used over the years. This is the one I most commonly use, which is I find the line, okay, so I can see the line here, and I'm just going to pinch right along that first mark, just a little bit to get me started. And I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to find the line and I'm going to pinch right there, and then the paper kind of starts to do the folding for you if you've done those 2 little pinches. And then I'm just going to work slowly, pinching the whole way. So I'm not doing one big flat crease the whole way across. I'm pinching slowly across the line. Okay, so then you saw me run my fingernails over it. You could use a marker, you could use handle from scissors to crease that further if you want, just to get a nice crisp line. This is something we're taking for paper engineering. Our folds matter, and the more crisp that fold is, the easier it is to work with. So I'm also going to fold it the other direction. Again, a paper engineering technique. It's just going to make our lives easier in the end. Okay. So this first one will be standing up, and we're going to continue to fold these. So I'll do one more example for you. I'm going to pinch right here to get it started. I'm going to grab the other side and pinch right at that line. And then I'm going to use that pinching method to just fold this the rest of the way, neatly and slowly along the line. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to continue to do that the whole way until our entire paper has been folded. So I have an example to show you. Okay, so this one started and it has all of the folds done. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to set this up so you can see what it should look like. One's up, this is down, this one is up, down, up, down, up. Okay, so they should be looking like this. So in between each one, so the first one is up, flat to the table, up, flat to the table, pinch together, flat to the table, pinch together, flat to the table. Make sure you create a mountain fold there. Pinch it together, flat to the table, pinch together, flat to the table, and up, okay? So it should look like this when you're done. So we have standing up, flat, standing up, flat, standing up, flat. We're going to repeat that process with the next piece, because what will happen is this piece is going to get glued right to the edge here. So you're going to accordion fold the 9x12 the same way you did the other ones. So you have up, flat to the table, up, flat to the table, up, flat to the table, and then this last one is also going to go up. So I'm going to fold this last one to show you what the final. And then I'm going to fold it back this way. So that it goes up. So your final piece, once it gets glued together, will look something like this, okay? So what we're gonna do next is we are actually going to glue these two pieces together to keep our paper held tight. So I'm gonna grab a glue stick and show you how to do that section. All right, so I've got my glue stick. So I'm just gonna double check my work and make sure that this first one is standing up straight. I'm gonna pinch these together and just make sure these are in the correct order. All right, so this end one should be up straight. This first one should be up straight as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put glue all along that strip. Glue it back on when you're not using it. And we are going to pinch these together. And we want to line those edges up. Okay, so those should hold together pretty nicely. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to start gluing the rest of this together. And for this, we are going to be thinking about the following. Each of these mountains is going to get glued together to form a single strip, okay? So I'm going to flip this over. I know that this is going to be my mountain, so I'm going to put glue on it. I really suggest you take your time on this, okay? So I'm going to go ahead, and you could even take a pencil or a pen if you wanted to mark it. So this one is up, down, so I know I have to put glue on this one and this one, okay? I just marked them with an X. So I'm going to put glue all in this section. And these two are going to get pressed together. Okay, so I have an up, a down, and up. So this next one is down, which means these two are going to get glued together. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue right on there. So remember, you're gluing your mountains together. And in between each mountain, there should be an area that is completely flat to the table. Okay, so I have a mountain, down, mountain that's been glued together, down, mountain, glued together, and pinched. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and continue this process to show you what it looks like, but I'm going to speed it up and then we'll get a peek at what the final one looks like. All right, so here's the final piece. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna check and see. We should have 9 pieces, valleys, that are flat to the table. So let's go ahead and check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so it's all ready. So we're going to go ahead and stop here in this part of the video, and we're going to wait to move on to the next section until the next video.